Welcome to the 180 podcast, brought to you by BTFU. Round 1 has been won and done. We're going to talk through all of that and also preview round 2, which is coming up in only a couple of days. Well, it's tomorrow. Actually, it's going to be a big game as well. Joining you, Reni with Tua. Reni.
Shuey.
Stu, they got some coverage,
It
didn't they?
did on Triple M. I like that.
Yeah, Bowie and Woodsy, they came at me hard. They thought it was right.
Well, you did go through for my throat, so I'm glad that they backed me.
How do I
I
go for your
You
throat?
went straight for the jugular. You said that I rohypno people,
Well, that's what you
and I
Alan,
have children in Vegas.
That's what you and Alan do. That's what you do. You know,
I'm Bradley Cooper. I told you.
Bradley Cooper, please. You're not married. That's one thing.
All right. He's going for the jugular again.
You certainly behave like Alan in Vegas. So I thought it was
Incorrect. Don't believe it, viewers.
So they thought my teeth were the reason for Stu.
Yeah. No. I'm more the responsible nerdy one.
Oh, okay.
Not the teeth.
Responsible nerdy one.
Yes.
All right.
No. Yeah, you get your shit in order.
What did they say to Alan, to Stu when they rocked up to pick him up going to Vegas?
Paging Dr.
No, that's bad. Imagine that these days.
I know.
You can't say that sort of stuff.
No, you
It's
can't.
disgraceful. Anyway, let's do the check-in, although we've probably already started by the sounds of it. How's your weekend?
Very quiet, Braith. What did we do? We watched the game Saturday with Daniel Livingston and the kids. Sunday, we caught up for a wonderful lunch. Alia's birthday last week, your daughter.
My daughter.
We watched the South Dolphins game together.
Yeah, first sort of time off I'd had since landing from Vegas and a few skewies down at Coogee, didn't we?
It was good.
We went to Coogee Bay for a bit and popped over to Little Jack Horner where all the boilers were after you down
All
there.
the rear spoilers, eh?
You had
not
them
really.
all over you.
No, not it.
Mate, that was...
It's good to see Volley K play, you know.
Yeah,
Volley's a good man.
he's a good singer, man. He's grouse. It was actually a good couple of drinks and like Stu does, he went home early. And Alan went
home early too.
Really?
About an hour after you.
Oh, okay.
No, I did.
All right.
You left with someone who's very, how would you say, erratic and tends to walk off and not tell you where he's going.
The hyena, we call him.
The hyena.
Because he just stalks his prey, doesn't he?
Well, stalks his drink prey like he just, in the tall grass, is looking for his next drink.
Yeah, no, it was a good weekend, and we did watch the South Dolphins game. Very hard when you're at a pub watching the footy with no commentary and
UFC
a bit distracted
on.
by beers and everything else. So we kind of didn't watch it detailed, but enough to know how it played out, why it played out. Anything else in the check-in, Reni?
No, I just want to give a shout out to my sister. It is MS, Multiple Sclerosis Week, Awareness Week. My sister got diagnosed. I was living in England, I want to say about 2017 to 18. Get a bit emotional about this. But just to see the way it affects her, the advancement in medical technology, I guess, has been great for people with MS. Not great, but with people with MS, it's a lot. You know, as she's getting about, but it is slowly starting to deteriorate her health. Unfortunately, she has a walking stick now. So I just wanted to give a shout out to my sister, tell her I love her a lot, and anyone else in other families that are dealing with people with MS. Just recognise that it is MS week, and there is plenty of support out there. So I just wanted to give that a shout out.
Good on you, buddy. Hopefully, shout out from all of us here. Hopefully, she's feeling okay and she's on the mend, or can just kind of keep it in check as much as possible and go about her life with her family. And it's tough. It's tough out there. So well said. Jai Opetaia.
Yes.
We thought the fight was on Sunday. It was a big reason why we had the drink. Realised it was on Monday.
Yeah.
One of our best. I watched it in at Fox on the live feed because it wasn't on Fox. Didn't have any commentary. First of all, congratulations. Awesome effort. I think he's Australia's best boxer by country right now, and absolute superstar. There was an interesting one though with Zufar, Dana White, with taking over now boxing as well as his UFC and starting up. Zufar signed up Jai. It was weird to watch for me because I had no commentary, and the feed come through and it looked like COVID. Like, it was kind of a weird setup, right? Like there wasn't many fans there. Again, I didn't have the commentary on, so to me, it didn't do him any justice for the boxer he is and the titles he's got, the belts he's got, position he's in. It sort of felt a bit amateur-like, and that's not to disrespect him because I love him. And I'm hoping that changes and that they all kind of accept Zuffa and don't take any belts off him or give him his belt back at least.
Yeah.
But how did you see that, Ren?
Yeah.
I know you're a big fan and mate of his.
Yeah, look, just a bit of a backstory. Jai is Ben Roberts' cousin. I got an opportunity to train with him back in 2015, I believe, maybe just before the Olympics, and with Hayden Knowles and Ben was there, and we always knew he was going to be a superstar. The fight, he was clinical, but to strip him of the IBF the night before, it's disheartening for him because he wants to be a unified world champion. These other sanctioning bodies won't recognise Zuffa. I just think as Australians, we need to get behind him a bit more. I don't see the mainstream media. I see Fox get behind him. I don't see mainstream, as in 7, 9, 10, give him the props he deserves. But the kid's special, and, I thought he looked a little bit flat.
Yep.
But, he got the job done. So any kid aspiring to do anything in sport, watch this kid's interviews.
Yeah.
Because he is about it. And
it's from the heart. Everything's from the heart.
He does it for his family.
Yeah.
He does it for himself. So he's the perfect role model for any kid coming through, male or female, to just, watch his interviews.
Yeah, I love him. I love watching his interviews. They're so raw. And it's, he is doing it for his family. He's doing it for he's mentioned his mum and he's told his mum not to buy a lotto ticket because I'm your lotto ticket. Like all that's beautiful, and given the circumstances and the adversity that he did face with all that going on throughout the week and the controversy, he was in cruise control still. Well, it probably wasn't his best fight or how he wanted to execute the fight, but even that last couple of rounds, he was hardly breathing. Like he was just, the other guy his forehead was swollen. He'd landed so many more punches and he it looked like he could have went another 10 rounds with this guy and he would have knocked him out, pretty soon after that last round. So congratulations to Jai. Let's get to the rugby league though. That's what we're here for. And we're going to start with it because, I haven't really touched on it with NRL 360 is the officiating. I did a couple of times, but I wasn't really willing to pull the trigger yet because it's round one. And I'm still not going to go too hard on or be too critical of it, but there are a few concerns that come from round one. It highlighted that, we always talk about how possession is king. Control on the football is so important in our game now, and we've seen that over the past couple of years with the rule changes. With this new change to the zoning of the 6 again and when they can call it, it showed and it's really highlighted and pointed out that if you don't control the footy, you're in deep shit.
Yeah.
And there were swings in games, but I think the score lines, the blowouts and all that only really reiterated that you need to control the footy, Reni. And if you don't control the footy this year, you're in deep shit.
Yeah, absolutely. I think you can obviously on Thursday night, Parramatta, they didn't control the footy, got 50 put on them. Brisbane, another one, 18 errors. Who else was there? There was Roosters.
Yeah.
Do you think it's going to affect it? I feel like it could maybe bore down our game a little bit with the new officiating because you're trying to complete too high.
Just to give people an example, because I spoke to the NRL throughout the week, there were 60-odd 6 agains this weekend or round one. Last year, round one, there were 30-odd, right? And even last year with that, everyone was panicking. They thought because it was a new, kind of a new rule, and it was a bit like, why? And is this going to be best for the game? The tip for you guys who are listening, watching, is that won't happen this weekend. The NRL, indirectly, I think they weren't entirely happy with the officiating, and you'll see a big shift. And you often see that, you don't. That's why you don't want to jump the gun
around Magic Round.
It's going to happen. Referees got to get used to it. Players and coaches have got to get used to it. And what they've got to understand though, and because of the blowouts, a lot of the horrendous calls get overlooked because the scoreline ends up being so far apart. But in games like the Para-Melbourne one where Para were shocking, but Melbourne were great, there was a period there, Para with 12 men played better than 13. They are out of the blocks thinking, here we go, right? Melbourne get on a run and then get 2 or 3 calls that really, were bad. And you can say, oh, yeah, it was 52-4. But that actually shifted the game immensely to a point where Melbourne just went bang, 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 and the game was over, right? It happened, the Roosters copped it a little bit, even though, in the end of the day, they got hammered. And
it was about 11-2 penalty count at one stage.
You look at the Brisbane game and that, the knock on from the Penrith player, I can't remember who it was. It was a clear knock on. They even went to the bunker, and the bunker still ruled knock back when it's been
even in the Parramatta game where Brian Kelly.
That went 2 meters backwards. Yeah. Like, what are these guys doing?
Especially when it's up at the bunker.
Yeah, and then you've got the tap back, and you got to go up with 2 hands. You can't tap it back anymore because of disruptors. You can go over, like the dropouts kill me. We spoke about it last year. Yeah. I hate it, mate. Yeah. Like, the dropouts, there is just no penalty for, you can kick it behind you or into the stand 40 deep and it doesn't matter. There's no penalty. And as a half, there is an art to getting a repeat set of 6 and building pressure on oppositions. It means nothing now.
Yeah.
It really means nothing. And I urge the NRL to piss that rule off.
Yeah.
That's got to go. The rest I can keep an eye on and monitor, and we all can, and see where we land with it. The dropout one's got to go. I don't understand it. No. And if you think about it even more now, because of the disruptive rule, like, that's all you do off a short dropout now is they're going up or tap it. So even
it contradicts everything.
Contradicts everything. So, whoever made that rule has no idea.
It's all about HIAs. They don't want someone coming off the back fence.
Oh, mate.
That's what it is, right? How good was Jake Trbojevich's helmet? His headgear.
Headgear, mate.
Magneto.
Let's go there.
I'd retire.
Let's go there.
They said, Reni, you have to wear that? No, I'm done. Medically retired.
I felt sorry for him.
He doesn't give a shit. He's not the type of bloke that would care. It looked like an airbag on his head.
You don't need to be vain to give a shit about that headgear. That headgear's like, mate, that's a Martian. That's like, I said it on 360. I reckon he would have got to Ethan Sanders if he didn't have the headgear, because the headgear weighs about 20 kilos. Yeah. If you take that off, he might have got there that split second earlier.
Yeah.
Poor Jakey.
Poor Jakey. It's all about protecting his head. We get it, but fucking get something that looks a little bit better, surely.
Yeah, I know. Let's go through a few of the games then, just while we're there.
Yeah.
And I think the Para one, right, because we tipped him.
I think everyone tipped him.
Lemonville over here, Lemonade Parade, all 3 of us tipped Parramatta. And let's be honest, a lot of people did. And we did it with the start. We only just missed it by 40 points. But, I looked at that and I thought they just got ahead of themselves. They thought they were there when they weren't. Their possession, they have 63% completion rate. 40% possession. But they had no respect for the footy. And we spoke about why they look so good in the trials was because they got forwards who pass and they've got that second phase and that ability to move the ball around, which would trouble Melbourne. But every time they made a half break or looked dangerous at all, they tried to force the pass.
Force it.
And they made error after error after error.
Yeah.
What was your
No,
take?
I said, look, they've got the blueprint to beat Melbourne, but someone wrote it in invisible ink. Like to move the ball around is how you beat them. But they just, the risk reward of playing that style of play, you've got to be able to defend your errors. And they did pull Melbourne apart a lot, but they just couldn't back it with their defence.
Yeah, it wasn't good.
Jonah Pezzic's the first try, the way he and Moses connected and how square they played.
Yeah.
Take note, dogs. Like, that's how you play square.
It is. Again, and that's never going to be a problem for them. Like, but you got to build pressure and you got to earn the right.
Yeah, absolutely.
Jonah got targeted and he was always going to, and every half does. I thought he made his tackles, but then, he was under pressure. He got jammed a few times there trying to make the pass, and he's got to be better. they've all got to be better. There's a few games of the weekend I would say I'm not going to look too deeply into. And we mentioned a few of them. I mean, the Roosters is one of them because of the errors they made and, kicking on play 1 and play 2 semi, which I interviewed him on 360 last night. I wanted to ask him, but I didn't want to put him on the spot. But, how much
it's a fair question.
How many times have I said it on here about the Roosters and semi? Like, I love him, most instinctive player I think I've ever seen, and his style is so unique and so special because he plays so unlike everyone else and so unstructured. But it kills you, and it killed them. But you can look at those teams as well as the Broncos and go, you know what, they got smashed, all of them. But if they hold the footy, it's a different ball game.
Yeah,
and that's not a big. It's not hard to change that. Maybe for the Roosters because they've done it for years, but it's not hard to change that.
What's hard for the Roosters to change is that's not hard to change. Is your discipline and your completion with errors defensively. Both sides of the halves, their back rowers are in for a big year defensively. You can't have Tony Carroll. Not everyone has a Tony Carroll to protect Lockyer. Angus Crichton can do the job.
We've said on this potty, like they've got 2 targets now, 3.
Yeah.
They've got 2 targets both sides.
Yeah. And that's as a back row, I'm like licking my lips, going, "Give me both of them in front of me."
And you got all year. It's round 1.
Yeah.
We were worried about that before round 1. You got a whole year of it. You got DCE who's 37 and had a poor year last year defensively, and now first game, he's 37, thinking, "Oh, do I still have it?" And you can talk all the shit you want, but as an older half myself, who was not even close to 37. I couldn't imagine playing at that age. Honestly.
I think I did play till 30.
Did you?
37, yeah.
Oh, that's great, mate.
For Southeastern.
Congratulations.
You got a Lapa.
Oh, Lapa, one game in torn calf. Yeah, that was right. That was at 47. No, but honestly, you do have doubts at that age. Like, you know that. Did you have doubts at that age?
Absolutely. Like, your mind is telling your body to move, but it doesn't move.
Yeah.
You just get to that point where it's time's up. I'm not saying time's up for DCE, but he's got to be better.
And I say this, it's kind of something that I think is big, is hesitation. And I've said it on again. Yeah. Hesitation is your biggest killer of the half.
Yep, absolutely.
If you hesitate, that split second is everything. And when you're hesitating and you're a step behind in defence, it's too late. And if you're hesitating in attack, you're already in 2 minds. You're cooked. So I think that they're going to get better. The combination will get better, but they've got to play smarter.
Yeah.
You can't be playing that style with the halves they've got and putting so much pressure on themselves defensively through not respecting the football. They're going to get found out.
Well, this has been going on for over 12 months now. How much pressure would you say Robbo's under?
This is the thing. Roosters fans are over it.
Okay.
A lot of our mates are Roosters fans.
Yes.
Or South fans or Bulldogs. They're the 3 clubs, right? But a lot of our mates are Roosters fans, and the amount of messages I got from not only my mates after the game, but also people who are diehard Roosters and close to the Roosters and, close to even board members.
Yep.
Were like, we've had enough. Like to year after year have the squad they've got and every single thing they could possibly – like Robbo gets afforded everything he wants. Like he's got the roster, facilities – like there is no shortage of money or,
brown paper bags,
infrastructure. Like they've got everything they need or want, and there's no excuses. So why? Like you can't say they're picked on now. Like and Abdo said it himself.
They are picked on. They got death threats.
Death threats.
Roosters supporters.
From Roosters supporters?
Roosters supporters had to shut down their social media because Roosters players were getting death threats.
Really?
Where do you think the death threats would come from Roosters supporters?
Scott's College? Cranbrook?
What are they threatening with? Like throwing a hot latte on them? Or?
Mate, death threats from the eastern suburbs, pretty scary shit.
Sorry to cut you off there, but
no, I don't know.
But on the flip side of that, how good were the Warriors?
They were great. Like no Metcalf, right?
Yeah.
And they aimed up. Their pack aimed up. Tanner Boyd played the best game of his career.
Harris Tavita. Fisher Harris.
Yeah, they were really good. They were really good.
Their intent, their aggression.
They're well coached.
Yeah.
They're well coached.
Yeah.
I think more credit's got to go to Andrew Webster because with that squad against the Roosters over there, I think majority's picking Roosters. And without their halfback, who was their best player last year, and they fell off a cliff last year without him. Yep. And no Barnett. Two like their best players.
Yeah.
So to do that round one against the Roosters over there, that says a lot about where they're at as a club and their coach, their coaching. And I've got a massive rap on him.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, just their aggression, attention to detail. Their line, there was a couple of poor defensive reads on Billy Smith. I've got to give that kid a rap. I thought he was outstanding, but I'm kind of like, I look at that game before and I see the roster of the Roosters and I'm like, I'm picking the Roosters, right?
Well, we all did.
And then they just come out and just shove one straight up the clacker and go.
Yeah. Let's get on to the Broncos a bit.
Yeah.
And we're going to do a preview. So, but we got to cover these because it kind of leads to other issues that maybe, we can dive into. But I don't want to harp on about the Payne Haas shit because it's been killed. And I think Madge Maguire needs a break. He's just won a premiership. It's round one, they get beat, and he's on the chopping block. Come on, man.
Is that how bad it's got?
They have the media.
Right.
And even on 360, and because there's all these murmurs coming out of there, which we're hearing too. Yeah. All right. But give him a break. No other coach anywhere in the world on any stage would win a competition and then lose round one and have the uproar that there is. Yeah. Yes, the Payne Haas stuff adds a bit of insult to injury, right? But what I want to focus on more here is you were concerned about this at the start of the year. You said they'd be the biggest sliders and you had valid reasons for it. And you're looking pretty good right now because I know it's only early, but your concerns are what you saw on the weekend.
When they make errors, and I saw it last year, they capitulate. One goes to 18 as premiers. Yes, it's round one, right? I'll give them that break. But that's 2 games in a row now. They've conceded over 50 points defensively. My concern is that they don't have the leadership or the mental fortitude to when it gets hard, that you've got something in the back of your mind that goes, I'm not going to move for that 1%er anymore. I've won a premiership. It creeps in.
Yeah.
And after 10 rounds, right, out of all the teams that made the most errors, they should have got beat by more than 26.
Yeah.
Right? And Penrith are a great fucking team. They strangle you. They make it hard for you. But if this continues, I just see them sliding even more. And this is the reasons why I gave it in the before round one.
Yeah. I heard a quote the other day. I hope I get this right. Adversity doesn't build character; it reveals it.
Yeah,
and I kind of that was to me. I heard it on the coverage of the golf because a lot of times you're under extreme adversity and pressure with golf, and it's actually I love it because you do build character over time, but it actually reveals the real you.
Yeah, it does.
And I think in a situation with the Broncos, they struggle with leadership, like you said. They ride the highs, but they ride the lows. There's no real in between with them. And we saw it last year. If you eliminate, which you can't and we shouldn't, but if you just put that last end of the season away where they got in a run and they were on the coattails of Reece, there were times we were sitting in here going, mate, they don't give a shit.
Yeah.
They're poor. And they don't have any resilience. And where are their leaders? And we were questioning that throughout the year. And then all of a sudden, they lost at 4 Pines. They got on the piss and their season turned. That was their big bonding session. That was a real pivotal moment. But this doesn't surprise me because we saw it last year. Yeah. When you win a competition, it really shows you where you're at mentally the next season. Do you want to win another one? Do you have it in you to get yourself back up? Where's your drive, your inspiration? Because if that 1 or 2% that you lose when you win a comp gets revealed, And this is going to be their test. I'm not writing them off by any means. We're just talking to what we're watching, and what like. But it's a big test for them.
Their attention to detail was so amateur. Like Mariner, I don't think he caught a ball, like a high ball. Just simple play the balls. Like that level of attention to detail is just like you're better than that. When you say they ride the lows, what do you mean by that? Like, is there you mean there's
if
no
they're
one?
bad, they're bad.
They're
mate.
bad, but there's no one.
There's
to
no
like
one that
pull
can
them
flick
out,
the switch and pull them
out of it, right?
You know, like, and even I was watching a few games where you saw teams start to come back in, not even the ones that got beat. I think the Dolphins were a good one. You know, you saw their pack, you know, their leaders in the pack. Who have they got?
Gilbert.
And he's just come back from the shoulder injury.
Flegler.
They took it personal when South started putting it on them. And you saw their speed of the line amped up. They got aggressive. They come out putting shots on. And then you see Hemiso and those guys benefit and they come back into the game. Like, when the Broncos, they're kind of deer in the headlights side. You can see it on their face if they're in the game or not. You can see what they're gonna like. It's quite visual to me, you know. Like, whereas that's a worry, you know. Like, who's going to drag them back out of it? And if you actually look at their team, who are their leaders? Right, you got Carrigan, who's a leader. Payne Haas is a leader by his actions. You know, he's not a talker. He's not. I
don't see Carrigan talking on
this. Yeah, Carrigan's quiet too, right? Yeah. Reno is a leader, but he's not, you know, like he's not the guy you look at bouncing around and barking orders. And he's also due to injuries and probably preservation of his body, I would dare say he's not even on the training paddock a lot of the time. Right. So you want your leaders in and amongst the training, right? And off seasons and in the heat of battle. I mean, that's just me. That's an observation. I'm not. He could have done every session.
100%.
I don't know, but like you know what I mean. Like you look at the team and who are their leaders?
I can't. Yeah, I don't see it. I don't see someone who's just like gets the troops together and has a conversation or behind the try line. When there was one try, Gajewski took a head knock and then he got beat by Dylan Edwards. They were all. There wasn't like a circle or a huddle. They were all separated behind the try line. And I thought, that's a warning sign for me.
Yeah, let's get. You know,
what do you think of the Ezra Mam not starting?
Well, I was working on Friday Night Fox and because we get the teams earlier now, which is really good. So you used to get them an hour before the game. Now you get them an hour and a half.
Okay.
And so when we got the teams, I was like, what? Like, I'm sorry, but there's just no reason in my. I can't come up with a reason why you wouldn't start him. Like I just couldn't believe it. I had I don't want to throw the other boys under the bus that I work with, but no one, I won't mention names, but everyone on that panel could not believe it. And then if you looked at the interview that Jake Duke had with him before the game, he looked disappointed.
Yeah.
He didn't tell anyone that we knew, but he didn't tell anyone he was starting. He actually had the interview as if he was starting, like he didn't disclose it, but you could see it. And I just like, you know, again, you go back to, you got Hunt, you got Reynolds, yes, but they're both 35 or whatever they are. You know, he is one of the best 5'8" in the game. He's ready. He's primed. He was the second best player on the field in the grand final. The only reason he didn't start the grand final was because of his indiscretions at the start of last year.
Yep.
And the respect and the right call was to play the halves that had been there for that run into the grand final. So but mate, come on, man. Like Madge, I'm a fan of, and again, I think they'll bounce back. This isn't a bash up by any means, because I actually think they'll bounce back, and I don't agree they'll fall off a cliff this year. I think they'll find it, but like I just I couldn't. What did you think?
I'm trying to think of the science behind it. Does Madge want to take the sting out of the game before they bring in this X factor? But Ezra Mam and Reece Walsh, they're it. They're the combination. You know, you want to build that from round one. Now you've realised you made a bad decision. I believe you're starting this week, but the only way I can see it is that he was trying to take the sting out of the game and try and find something 20 minutes in, 30 minutes in. Against a Penrith team, you need to start with.
You need to start quick. And you know what it does? It puts more pressure on Reece because he's the focal point without Ezra. Right?
Yeah,
and you could see Reece was kind of trying to – and look at the grand final. When did Reece light up?
when they were
When who came on?
when Ezra, yeah.
Like, you know what I mean?
Well, so were they trying? Was he trying to copy paste that, or
they had lost the grand final until Ezra came on and unlocked Reece?
Yeah, that's right.
Come on, like you know, it was a bad call, and you know, Dave Riccio on 360 last night said that he had a phone call conveniently before the show that it was a quad concern. And I'm like, okay, so you got a quad injury, have him keep Colt on the bench and bring him on for impact where he's got to hit a certain speed straight away, you know, like after sitting on the bench.
And he found it very hard to get into the game.
He did. Quick touch on Melbourne. We're jumping around a little bit, but I think we're going more with like, you know, we want to touch on a few of the teams and what excited us and you know and what disappointed us and concerns maybe. But Melbourne were great, and this is a smart team, mate. They tried like crap, right? But and it shows the trials mean nothing again. I think we may have said it, but I'm not going off trials ever again. They're sacked. Like, and you know what? We've got to work on them too at Fox, and you couldn't be fucked because it means nothing.
It's very hard to tip.
Oh, mate, honestly. But their spine were brilliant. Harry Grant,
Jerome.
He's the best off quick play the balls. Jerome and Cameron, you know, and they are just all class. Fa'alanga, I said when we had to pick a player a few weeks ago, he was my player. He was my player to watch, and the weekend was the reason for it. I've got him. This is a big call, but I've got him ahead of Pappenhausen. I'd rather Fa'alanga on my team, and I you know. Yeah, perhaps I might get upset about that.
I thought Jack Howarth, outstanding. Brian Kelly defensively looked like a deer in the headlights, but I want to give their forward pack a rap as well if you just go up. Like Lasardi, Joe Chan, guys like that, they really stepped up. They really took it like personal manner.
Joe Chan had the best game of his career. Yeah. He was standing over the top of Jonah like he thought he was Gordon Tallis over Hodgson in Origin, but he was... He just terrorised him, but he had his best game by a long way. Lasardi, you gave a rap to before the game, and he lived up to that. But you know, the thing with Melbourne is that again, this is what they do every year.
Yeah.
You know, so this isn't their problem. This isn't. You know, I'm not shocked by that. They'll do it again another 10 times this year, and they'll be where, you know, I thought they'd fall away a bit this year. I'm doubting that now after seeing this, like as in terms of falling down the ladder a bit because they don't have a lot of depth, but do they have the firepower, you know, at the back end of a year when they probably got a few injuries, long season to get the better of Penrith and Brisbane and you know even Canberra and those sort of teams. You know, like I'm still not sold. Yeah. You know, even after that.
Even with like the Su'a-Fa'alongo thing, like for him to bide his time, there would have been every club in the competition chasing him. You know, Paps obviously moves on, and you just see he brings something different, and that's what they've needed, right? To score points, that chip and chase, like he's an instinctive player. I didn't really watch him defensively too much. We're Para that bad, but you just see that you lose Paps. Now you've brought in this kid.
Credit to Melbourne.
Yeah.
Credit to Melbourne. Players do stay loyal to Melbourne and bide their time, and they normally get rewarded, and he's one of them. So congratulations to him. Big news last night, breaking actually on NRL 360. Michael Carianis and Brent Reid broke the story while we were on air. Kalyn Ponga, which is not a surprise, but has decided that his allegiance now will be with the New Zealand side. You know, he kind of turned his back on the Australian team a couple of years ago there, which I don't know if they would have picked him again anyway, given that what happened there with Mal. Do you remember that?
Kind of, yeah.
There's the end of the year, and he Mal picked him, and I think he said he had it was a bit sus, right? And that's okay because at the end of the day, if Kalyn wants to play for New Zealand, he go play for New Zealand. No problem with that at all. But all I'm trying to say is it wasn't a surprise because it seemed that he's been wanting to play for them for a long time now, but still play for Queensland. And with the rules, he now can, but he needs to get through a few hurdles because he played for Australia in the nines. You know, 4 or 5 years ago, longer. Yeah. It's actually a long time ago.
There's like a technicality there,
but he'll be fine
with the International Rugby League.
He'll be fine. This is why they made the rule up. Yeah. He's going to be fine. There's no issue with that. What's your take, Ren?
Look, I'm not Nostradamus, but I picked it last year before anyone spoke about it. And it got picked up by the major outlets, but I wasn't sure around the eligibility rule around playing for Australia in those nights. Now, for me, I'm going to sound like I'm contradicting myself a little bit here. I don't want to see him play for Queensland, even though he's eligible. I play for New Zealand, all good. But people might say, well, what about Critter? What about these guys that
Yep.
Samoa, no matter what, how strong they are, and Tonga, they're still a tier 2 nation. They don't have the infrastructure, the pathways that New Zealand and Australia have. New Zealand do. I feel uncomfortable at this point if I see him in a maroon jersey.
Okay.
What about you?
Fair call. Gordy's very passionate about it, being a Queensland great. And he tends to think that players would make different decisions if you didn't get 30,000 a game to play Origin. He tends to think that
he's a money man, though.
He loves a dollar.
He's thinking about the money.
He loves a dollar, I can tell you that. But
I would play for New South Wales for free. That's
that's exactly his point.
Yeah.
And he thinks that if you're making decisions based around that, you shouldn't be playing for your state, because that's not what it's about.
Do you think players are really thinking about the money? Think about your career, like you would have put.
But that's us, because everyone, and even Riccio said it, and they're all saying it. Well, the game's changed, and people have changed, and you're trying to change Origin then, because from the second we were born, mate, we would pay to play Origin.
Yes,
I'd say take 30 grand off my contract to play Origin. Like, I'd actually give money back. Origin. Like that was the be all and the end all. Whereas these days, I do think players look at it as a financial gain as well as wanting to play. I'm not discrediting them wanting to play, but does it mean as much to them now than what it did back in the day? I don't think. I would question that. Listen, I'm all for this, by the way. For players being able to play for their country and of preference and for their state. We've outlined our concerns around it, like, for quite a while since they've announced it. If I'm Queensland and hearing that from Gordy, I think they're not going to preference him. I would think that they would preference someone like Reece Walsh, regardless. If they're like,
Billy Slater would be on the same page. Billy's going. What do you think
Billy's doing? You
want to play for this? He always talks about us, Queensland.
Well, Jerome Hughes knocked it back. Yeah. Like, didn't knock it back, but he said, no, I'll play for New Zealand. I'm happy with that. I can't put into that Queensland jersey what Cameron Munster does. Yeah. It doesn't mean the same to me as it does to Cameron. But we can't say that it doesn't to Kalyn, because Kalyn played for Queensland while being in the country and come through a lot earlier than Jerome, I would think. And, I'm assuming. I don't know the details there. It's an interesting one. But I do think at the end of the day, rules are rules. He can play for Queensland, but I think if Reece and it's out of Reece and him, they're picking Reece.
Okay, hypothetical, Reece is out. Does Billy go against his morals and say, and just say the hammer's out as well? Look, let's just put some hypotheticals.
I don't think it's morals. I just think there's a preference there.
Yeah, I think there is some morals there with people like Billy and
yeah, but
Gordy.
What's the moral? What has he done wrong morally?
He hasn't done anything
wrong morally,
but it sits uncomfortable for us. It might sit uncomfortable for Billy. He'd say, "Look, I'm willing to give up that Queensland number 1 jersey to someone else who wants to play for Australia at the end of the year." That's
all right. Well, yeah, we'll see where we land with this. But again, it wasn't a huge surprise. So Kalyn Ponga will be playing for New Zealand in the World Cup, which is huge. And considering how they played, and Dylan Brown, and they got a team.
Yeah.
Now Benji Marshall.
I haven't seen it yet, so give me some context. Give me some context.
See it, mate.
Do you want to pause and let me watch it, or just give me some context?
No. They went inside the dressing rooms. I don't know if it was on their website or not, or if it was for a sponsor. I'm not sure, but they showed him doing a speech to the squad about the standards now at the West Tigers. He's sick of all the bullshit. You're either on board with us here and you're making your times and you're turning up on time, or you can fuck off out the door. It was funny, but because with the with the cut they did, like it was their cut, whoever cut.
What about the cut?
What about the cut? Unfortunately, like whoever cut it up, the clip was funny because he goes, whoever doesn't want to fucking be here or you can see that door, fucking you can walk out that door, then it shows him walking out the door. and then a minute later, the whole team's walking out the same door.
Yeah, so no one wanted to be there.
Is there a back door or something they can all walk out? So
just poor editing, right?
It was poor editing. But I actually liked it, right? And I want to get your take on it because Riccio didn't like it because it's showing the inner sanctum. And he kind of thought, he goes, I'm not a player, but I would think that you don't want too much of the coach's messaging to the players shown to the public.
It's a PR stunt, right? That's what every coach says.
It's a good PR stunt.
It's a great PR stunt.
Because if I'm a Tigers fan,
I'm going, yes.
And the Tigers fans are passionate. They would love that shit.
That's said, like, it goes without saying.
It goes without saying.
It goes without saying, right?
Yeah, but now they all think, oh, mate, this is like, he's amping this up this year. If you don't make the times, you're out. No shit. If you don't make the times, mate, you're fucking out anyway.
Yeah, that's right.
If you don't set the standards, you're out anyway. But, like, I like it, you know.
I do.
To be fair, I like seeing Benji like that because even playing with Benji, like I've seen, you know, he different sides of him, but as a coach, I've never seen him like this, you know. Yeah. And I think it really shows the passion and desire and what it means to him, which we already knew. We're players. I'm not, no disrespect, but we kind of assume so. But to actually see it was really good. I liked it.
Yeah,
I think it was a smart move. I think it was a good PR.
Great PR.
Because the fans would be, you know, they'd have a hard on. All right, that's about it for that. You got anything else on this week? Lomax. Yeah, we covered this a lot, right?
Who did he sign with?
Western Force and the ARU.
I actually didn't like. I think Reni took the piss out. He goes, "Oh, there'll be 5 people in the stands or something like that." Yeah. And I look.
Well, Reni was up his ass last week, and then he was jumping ship straight away. That's unlike Reni and you to get on that bike to Aspen again, and
he's off the bike again.
He's off again.
Look, we don't need to go too far into it. I just want Zach to be financially secure, play a sport, do whatever he needs to do to make a buck.
Yep.
But get back to the NRL. Someone will pick him up soon.
Yeah, I mean. And I said that the whole thing. Congratulations to him. You know, I put it into perspective last week on the potty, and you know he's going to be earning good money with a chance of playing a World Cup. Yeah, like you know he's not on the streets.
Yeah,
he's got a great opportunity, and the athlete that Zach is, I've got no doubt that he'll go a long way. It's going to be hard because he's in an average team, like which is the Western Force to push, but I reckon they'll put him in the Australian squad anyway.
Has he done an interview?
Yeah, he did one yesterday. Right. I mean, what were you doing all day yesterday?
Nothing.
Just out because I couldn't get a hold of you either.
Mate, when I'm studying for the podcast, it's do not disturb.
Yeah, but this is the point. You said you're studying for the podcast, but you've asked what if you did an interview yesterday. You also asked what happened with Benji.
It's just so much. You know me in KO minis I have to watch. Like,
you're watching something else, mate.
You're a cheeky bastard.
Yeah. Where were we on that? Yeah, Zach. So. And the whole thing with Reni last week was the union. Oh, we're losing the union and all that. And I said it like, you know, I actually think it's more a blight on rugby that, you know, so many league players can just leave and walk into their systems and have a huge chance of playing a World Cup where I couldn't see any other player really. And I didn't mention Mark Nawanga on the coverage. I just forgot to. And of course, rugby fans jump onto me and said, oh, well, what about Marky Mark? He did it. Yeah, he did. And I said to him, name another one that would. You know, they're very limited, right? Yes. And I refer to Rocky Elsom, Reni. Now, let's tell the Rocky Elsom story. You were there? Were you there then?
I was there.
Rocky Elsom. So just for the rugby fans who I've got a few stories about rugby actually. And this is not to shit on rugby, but this is why I'm so strong about how I think league are far superior. And I played both at high levels until I was 17, trained schoolboys for league, and I would have made the union, but I chose league. So I know both games well. Reni was with me in majority of that rugby union as well. We played together. We played with Morgan Tuanui and
Junior Langy,
a few of those top liners. Now, Rocky Elsom was signed as a big signing for the Bulldogs. Because he was a rugby superstar. What happened?
You were already playing first grade. So I was playing, he was in the flag squad. Couldn't make our reserve grade side.
Yep.
We had a fucking fair team.
Yeah.
Left the Dogs and captained the Wallabies, basically.
Captain
Essentially.
the Wallabies. So we had Rocky Ellison come, couldn't make reserve grade at the Bulldogs, and was captain of the Wallabies within 2 or 3 years. Now, you know, that's one example. There's a few. The kid at the Gold Coast, he's back in the Wallaby squad now, couldn't make it there. The young bloke who was there was another one. Oh, we had the Roosters, right? We did a group session with the Waratahs when we were in the off season, right?
The Bulldogs.
Was it the Bulldogs?
Bulldogs.
Was it the Bulldogs?
Bulldogs. Matt Dunning couldn't finish the bloody session.
They called an ambulance.
That was Bulldogs.
That was the Bulldogs. So we did a session with them at Narrabeen. I've done it a couple with them.
You might have done a couple. There's definitely one at Belmore.
No, I did another one. No, that you didn't. No, I did another one.
Oh so my God.
Okay, talk through the Belmore one.
So basically, I was still in Reggie's then. Yeah. So we watched a training session, and I would say 5 rugby players could keep up. They were backs. The rest were dying. Like just could not keep up one bit. Matt Dunning was like 7 hours behind everyone. Different kind of training. You know, these forwards are bigger guys, but the whole preseasons are just fucking hard.
Yeah, well, we did it with the Roosters with them as well. And I don't want to name names, but there was an ambulance called, and they weren't even close. And again, it's not shitting. It's highlighting that league's a different game, right? And rugby is heavily based on skill, right? They're quick hands and shifting, and you know, like,
well, they shake their hips. Like Jane Saville,
you know, Scott's College, death threats, you know,
like Aaron Macy walking down the street.
He hangs all of them down Double Bay every weekend.
It's like they're all power walking.
But like honestly, it's a different game, and we've had like Hoylesy and those blokes. I've got a lot of respect for a lot of rugby union players. Like, they are some machines, and even if you go global, like mate, but like in comparison, we've seen a lot where we know that league is superior. I think in terms of athleticism, and if you combine them all, they're just different beasts. And I couldn't see 4 union players walking out right now of the Wallabies team and playing for the Kangaroos. Could you?
Not a chance.
Okay.
Mark's one.
Mark's the only one.
Maybe a couple of All Black players.
Yeah.
The All Black boys.
Yeah, but that's different.
But we're talking about the Wallabies.
Yeah, we're talking about the Wallabies. Yeah, of course. Anyway, we'll fire on. We got some quick fire. Oof. You want to take over here?
No. You've got it. You've got the.
It's a fireball, quick fire questions from the great Reni Matua. These ones are actually, well, I hope they're quicker than the last.
I don't know how quick.
We're gonna go through some comparisons, players, right? So players, I think we got a coach in here as well. Who would you pick? All right. We'll start with the first one. Cameron Smith, Andrew Johns.
Andrew Johns.
Nathan Cleary, Jonathan Thurston.
Thurston.
Oh.
It's tough. Oh. It's so tough.
Cleary's still halfway through his career.
I know.
That's the only reason, okay?
Yeah.
Halfway through his career. Lazarus or Payne Haas?
Oh, for fuck's sake. I'm gonna go Lazo.
Yep.
Because not only was he a great front rower, athletically Haas is better. I know he's quick fire, but I just see Lazo's leadership off the field.
Yeah, good story.
That brings a bit more.
All right,
okay.
I'm going Lazo. Reece Walsh or Billy Slater?
For fuck's sake. Billy Slater.
Yeah, you just got to go Billy at this point in time. Again, it's a bit unfair because Reece is early. You know, he's got 10 years out of him. You can't go past Billy, though, at this point. Wayne Bennett or Craig Bellamy?
I'm going to go Bellyache.
Oh, I'm going to go Bennett.
Okay.
I'm going to go Bennett.
Yeah.
Bennett's 96 now and still got a team firing. And, he's won more premierships, hasn't he? Yeah, definitely has. Well, yeah, he has. Bellyache's a freak, but Wayne takes the cake.
I think for not my style of play or a coach that would keep me in check a lot better would be Bellyache.
You reckon?
I'd be shitting myself when I walk in.
But Wayne
puts his
gets
arm
all the
around you.
leftovers, the guys that have like gone to rehab.
I don't need a hug. I need to be told.
Wayne gets all the Allens from the hangover and turns them into
whatever, Stu.
All right, time for the Unibet preview with Aaron Macy. Mace, what have you got for us this week?
How are we, fellas?
Good, mate. How are you?
Fantastic.
Good to hear.
You, I know you were a little bit optimistic of South's chances of looking like they're going to be a team.
A little bit. I should have picked them. I changed last minute to Para and got shafted. I liked them last week, South.
But just as a team that you think they'll be making top 8 off what you saw?
South?
Yeah.
Oh, 100%. I thought that before the year. I reckon they'll be on the edge of the 4.
Yeah.
I've got no doubt about that.
How good is that?
Cruising into the 8.
They are cruising.
How good does Latrell look at centre?
And they're still not – he looks good at centre, but their left side attack is still clunky. Imagine when they get it together.
Yeah, when
they're right. They're right. Like Jack Whiten, he's defensively and even his skill to get it on to stretch. Like
that's what I love, Ren, is that you got Jack and Stretch there.
Yeah.
Like that strengthens their right-hand side. They got class finishers, creators on that right side, so they don't need to depend on the left either. And they'll send an extra man to that left. Like your right side defense is going to send an extra man, and they just go bang. Yeah. You know, give it to the boys out.
Would you agree that they're still a little bit clunky on the left too? That's with all that strike. Imagine when that clicks.
Cody's still probably one of the best halves, especially in that hot zone.
Yeah,
he's a footballer. Look at the Ferraris he's got outside him.
Cody, we said it, mate. Cody's
DCE,
still.
His head is on a swivel this week. They got to put him in shoulder pads. Jake's headgear.
I just had a visual then. His head's on a swivel, like.
You
sent me a photo. He sent me a photo.
Jake's back to the drawing board.
He sent me a photo while I was hosting the coverage on Friday night, watching the game. Can I tell him what photo you sent me?
No,
okay.
You can't, Braith.
It was a guy with a very long neck.
Yes, I saw that. He was in our group.
And I could imagine the head just swiveling on top of that. I don't know why you sent me that.
I'm a big fan of DCE. I love you, mate.
What did you just make a Fafita?
Good start. Yeah, good start. Good start. Like again, Reni said it. They're not even there yet. Yeah. And just with Latrell, like
you carry 3 blokes over the line.
Give it to him 10 metres out. That's why he's so good there. And he's got more energy because he doesn't need to worry about getting back, organising defence. Just stay on your left edge and, you know, you say, oh, you want him in the game more. You don't need him in the game more because when he touches those balls, he scores.
East won a comp doing it. So
that's right.
2 comps.
Here we go.
It comes back to East again.
Comes back to the Roosters.
No, but my point is that you get to see him back playing exactly how he did at East, just as a more finished, complete footballer.
And Jai Gray, I mean, look at his game. You know, say no more.
Yeah.
And then so we've got the Roosters, eh?
No, we kick off with Thursday. Tomorrow night's game.
So you just brought that up out of nowhere. Okay, I thought it was a preview.
No, yes, it was. I just wanted a couple of questions on last week's round.
No worries, buddy.
All right, well, the Broncos look to bounce back. They go home. They're $1.25 against Parramatta Eels, $4. Well, both teams copping an absolute flogging.
Yeah. And we've reviewed most of these, so I think it's more just down to a tip here, Ren. Like, what are you thinking, mate?
Yeah, I'm thinking Brisbane will bounce back this week.
Ezra's starting.
Yeah, I just think they just need to complete higher, and they're still look at the squad, like they're amazing, you know. And Parramatta,
Josh Adokar going back in, Sean Russell in the centres, no.
That is huge.
That is a massive difference.
That's huge because, like, to be fair, like, you know, obviously Joan is my client, and I said it, like he's got to be better. But I shit myself because I hadn't really thought about it. And I saw him defending next to Brian Kelly at the start of the game, and I was like, you know. And then you had Sean Russell on the wing, and I was like, they're going to target him. And, you know, with all due respect to Brian Kelly, you know, he was all over the shop there. So this is big, having Sean Russell back in the centres, which he trialled really well in that position, and having the class and the ability to read on the edges with that Okar. But I'm going to go back to this. Brisbane can't play as bad as they did. Yep. Parramatta scared the shit out of me with how poor they were. And although I think they'll improve out of sight, it won't be enough to beat a Brisbane team who will improve. So Brisbane will win this one.
Yep.
Okay. Now, this looks to be a really interesting game. We've got $1.80 New Zealand Warriors at home against Canberra Raiders. I would say that Ethan Sanders is probably the highlight for me of close to the whole round.
But that's a halfback who is young,
A kid.
inexperienced, and just says, "Give me the ball," and takes a shot. Like that's what you do, and that's a kid who. Really, I love the way he handled it. He played with so much class and poise, and he had pressure on him too because he's playing against the guy who he took his spot and who he'd learned from Fogarty. But I love the way Canberra play. I love how mobile they are. I love how fast they are. They are always in the contest. They are all athletes. Strange as a gun. Sanders has, showed us what he's got round one. Kyo Weeks, when he touches the fucking ball, the alarm bells ring. Like if I'm a defendant against him, he is fast, electric.
How electric is he? Like 50, like that 5 meter sprint. Like,
man, if you get isolated against him, it's goodbye. But
even that Simi
Sasangi, mate, I love him.
The utility value in him. He's a back rower.
Well,
and he was outstanding.
They dropped. What's his name? Who's the other centre they have there? I've lost it. Go down. He's not even on the. Maybe he's injured. I thought they dropped him, or maybe he's playing reserve grade because I know Ricky's big on that. Timiko.
Defensively on that right.
Is he in? Is he in? It says ins. Go up.
He's down there and he's off the bench.
Oh no! So they dropped Timiko. To bring in a back row essentially, like a Howarth to play in the centres, and he's really good. Good reads in defence and creative. In attack. Hands. I'm gonna go the Raiders. I love the Warriors and spoke to that earlier, but I love watching them play, and I know it's over in New Zealand, but I just think they're a little bit too good, and they're as good as that. They're as good as last year. I don't see any reason why they won't.
I'm going to go Warriors. I just really loved their intent last week, their line speed, their aggression. Canberra have a habit of letting other teams back into a game. Yeah, they're either chasing points or they always get chased down. Just what I saw from Warriors last week. I'm going to stick with the Warriors. I love their fucking bench. They've Moanga. Can you keep still for a second?
Halasima, though, can he run straight, please?
Yeah.
Like that try scored awesome, right?
Yeah.
But he was killing me, stepping off his right back into the middle of the ruck and not going he's 6'4" and 110 kilos.
He's not that big.
Yeah, I reckon he's big.
He's not huge. But anyway.
I want to get his stats up. He's 6'3" for sure.
Stat man.
Yeah,
look, I really don't. Have we got a
bio?
ChatGPT.
Can we get? Let's have a look. There he is.
Who was it?
You always say you're taller on your profiles in the beginning.
Don't cover it now. It's on the left. Where are you? There down there. Yeah.
185.
185 and 100 kilo. What's 185? Oh, it's at least 6'3", you Gronk.
How tall is 185 centimetres in feet? 6 foot, 6'1".
Wow, he's a short ass. Okay.
You're just shorter than me.
He's 5'10".
You're taller than him.
He's 5'10".
Yeah, what? That has surprised me. That means I'm taller than him. That's crazy.
Yeah.
Anyway, okay. Well, I'll take that back.
Moanga, fuck, he's an animal too. I just really loved what I saw. They'll bring that same energy. Tough game, but I'm going to go Warriors.
Okay. What's the go here with the odds? No Josh Papali'i, by the way.
No Josh Papali'i. They're $1.80 New Zealand, 204 Canberra Raiders.
I know where my tip could be going. Next. I'm going Raiders, by the way.
Yes, you're going Raiders.
Here it is, the grudge match.
The grudge match. Roosters home ground. Toya, massive in for the Roosters. Massive in.
Yeah.
Who played centre last week?
What's his name?
Pauga.
Yeah. He did all right, actually.
He was okay. He did. But Toya obviously going to be there. He defended against Latrell in Origin. They'll be looking to do the same. Nat Butcher goes to the bench. Yes.
Reni, you go first, mate.
Yeah. Look, I just think there's too many the concern around the halves defensively and what's coming at them. I think Souths are going to be too strong. I think they'll beat the Chookies. I think they'll break it down much more than that.
If you're going off round one, you're tipping South. But I just think that the Roosters, we know what happens in these games. It doesn't matter who wins round one or what points you're on the ladder. It's irrelevant. And if you look at the Roosters, I don't think they could have played any worse. There's probably a 5 or 10 minute period there. If the Chooks held the football, I reckon they beat the Warriors. That's how much I think that if they just controlled the footy, they would have won. But they can't. And, of course it's going to be their focus this week, but it's been their focus for years now and they haven't been able to ice it. I can't tip against them. I'm going the Chooks all the way, but highly concerned. The Souths just love playing the Chooks too, and they're in form. Jaden Sullivan worries me. I'm not a massive fan of his, although I thought he did a good job on the weekend when he came on. I'd be targeting him and Cody just as much as the Roosters halves are going to get targeted. So I'd be punishing the hell out of both of them. I'd probably get in the face of Cody because we know that you can get the better of him, and we've seen that in the trials even. And in past seasons when him and Cooper went at it a bit and all that sort of thing. This is a toss of a coin, to be fair, in my opinion. But I'm going to go the Bunnies. I mean, the Roosters. The Roosters.
I've got a question for Mystic Braith. At the moment, we've seen that it's more so Walker's side. Do you think that's the right play? As Cherry Evans has been the dominant half in every team that he's played in for so long. Do you think it's the right play? Obviously, because of the long term. Do you reckon it's the right play for this season?
What's that? I missed the start.
That Sam Walker's the more dominant half.
I saw Cooper Cronk say a good thing about how they're both playing too lateral. Running sideways, taking space. They're using the sideline basically as their enemy, because they're not squaring up a little bit. It's going to take a while for this to click. And Braith touched on it earlier, especially with Sam. It's like, bro, don't kick on the first. You're coming back into the game, try and put a kick in on the second. It's about, for them, they've got the firepower. It's just someone has to take control, and who is it? And for me, it has to be TCE.
Yeah.
That's the question, is it?
They got a loaded gun every game, and they walk off the field with still loaded with every bullet in there because they're just fucking, man, they don't get an opportunity to fire it. Like, it's just Sam, and he's just so good, but he's got to pull the rein. He just needs to pull back at some point, and DC needs to stand up and play square, like you said, Ren, because you're taking time and space from your outside men. Look at Billy Smith. He just gave him early ball on the weekend. He was like Latrell. He's a big body. He scored 2 easy tries. Toya, Tupou, Tedesco, Nwanga-Nidoase. Like, even Nwanga-Nidoase though, like he's unbelievable, right? But he's a rock star diamonds. Like so you got a lot of players in. I'm looking at it now. Like you got a lot of players who aren't afraid to test their hand, and you're either going to win the lotto or be bankrupt. Like it's kind of the way they are. And who knows what we're going to get. But I'm gonna go with Roosters.
I'm going with South Sydney.
All right, we have the West Tigers. $1.54 against the Cowboys, $2.49, and they're at Leichhardt.
They're at Leichhardt.
After the big speech, and everyone walking out.
I can't back against the Tigers at Leichhardt. It's such a fucking hard place to play. I'm getting real bad concerns from the Cowboys. Obviously, with Todd Payton potentially job on the line, I reckon it'd be a horrible place to be around in North Queensland. I don't feel like their energy's up. I just feel like it'd be a bad. There's not a good energy about the club at the moment, and then you got to come down to Sydney and play at Leichhardt. These guys, over the years, these two teams have had some great games. I think there's definitely a lot of golden points, 05 bloody grand final, whatever. But after Benji's speech, I'm all in with the Tigers.
Yeah, it's a big game. Cowboys were poor in Vegas, both defensive and surprisingly in attack. So Leichhardt's always a bit of a graveyard, very tough place to play. I think they've had some success there. Maybe I think they have, haven't they? Sneaky success.
What was it like to play at Leichhardt?
Horrible.
Yeah, it's not for an opposition. It's not good.
Terrible.
And the Tigers are showing, you don't know, it's round one for them because they got the bye in round one. So I'm expecting the Tigers. I love their trials. I was there for the one at Leichhardt. I think they'll be too good at home.
Hype is ball.
All right. Now we go to Wynn Stadium. We have Dragons, $3.16 against Melbourne Storm off their big win, $1.38.
Can you just
I'm just going to keep this pretty quick again. Yeah. I think that after round one, I love what I saw from the Dragons. I think they'll do the same again because that's just the way they're coached and they seem to have that work ethic and that turn up for each other kind of mentality. But no matter how hard they try here, they're going to have to need Melbourne to play bad because Melbourne were outstanding and just have so much more creativity in their spine. So I'm going to tip Melbourne.
They beat Melbourne round
they did.
4 last year at Oakey, didn't they?
They did. Which is, and again, that's what I mean. They can do it, but they need Melbourne to play bad.
Yeah. Yeah, based off what I love what I saw in Vegas from Dragons, but in terms of firepower, I'm going to have to go with the Storm.
All right, next match is a good one. It's down in Bathurst with Penrith Panthers, $1.32 against Cronulla Sharks. We played the Witches Hats and $3.40.
This is a real test for where Sharks really are, right? Like you come up against Shark Park is a hard place to play. Yes, they put big points on the Titans, but it was the Titans. Going off what I saw from Penrith last week, it is a big ask. I'm more excited to see where the Sharks really are as a team.
Yeah,
do you agree?
The Panthers, they're here to play again. They'll, in fairness, they weren't that great against the Broncos. The Broncos were just worse, but it showed intent and where they're at, and they're still very good. Yeah. And they're clear. They're favourites here for me. Now, the Sharks, you just never know because again, you see them do this a lot. Where they just bully teams and smash them at their home ground that they are far superior, 1-17 even before stepping on the field, and that's what they're best at. Yep. Their challenge has always been against the top teams, and even throughout the year they can get it done. It's the big games at the back of the year. I think they look great though. Trindle was outstanding and Hines was fantastic. Yep. That's a strong team, man. Like
Jesse Ramian was great, obviously.
Even Billy Burns has been playing really good too the last couple of years.
Yep.
This could easily go either way. This is a toss of a coin, in my opinion. Round two, it's a bit early to call which team's doing better than the other right now. I'm just going to go with Penrith because I think a lot of the emphasis will be on a fast start after a slow start last year, and I think they will be a lot different to the Titans, which could sort of spook the Sharks. The Sharks might get a bit ahead of themselves and all of a sudden, bang, they're in a contest.
Yeah, look, I'm going to stick with Penrith, but Isaiah Yeo, we know how good he is. He's the difference. I'm starting to feel like he's almost a little bit more important than Cleary in terms of their go forward. He knows when to pass. He knows when to carry. He was like their biggest threat against the Broncos last week.
I've got a bit. I'll push back on that.
Okay.
Oh wow.
My concern with Isaiah Yeo, and has been for a long time, and you see it more in rep games.
Yeah.
He takes time and space off Cleary
in rep games. I agree.
So, but even if teams are going to work that out. Like we saw Queensland expose it. And even in the Ashes, he's an incredible player and he's their leader.
Okay.
But whatever Cleary does is determined by him and when he gets the ball and how much time and space Cleary's got. I reckon Cleary could be a lot better if he got earlier ball.
Okay.
That again, that's not I'm not being a.
No, I know you're not.
You know what I'm saying?
I know exactly what you're saying. But when he decides to run.
He's a gun, man.
He's a pass threat.
Yeah.
And then he skips over to the C defender.
Yep.
He's 6'5". He'll just everything rolls.
I totally agree with all that.
I
just think it's an area where
he's a surprise.
Where I'd love to see Nathan just go every now and then. Let him do his stuff. But like a Joey and just like, mate, zing it here from 9 and I'm getting straight to the 3-man. You know what I mean?
Yep. I was just really impressed with him. Penrith, yeah.
All right, see, we've got the Sea Eagles at home, $1.58 against Newcastle Knights, $2.39. But they've got Fletcher Sharp out, who was probably one of their best players on ground. Game 1.
Yeah, I thought they were the most impressive team of round 1.
Yeah,
Newcastle with the changes that they've made. It's a shame that Fletcher's out. If he was in, I'd be tipping Newcastle, and I still may. I just what worries me about Manly is even they couldn't win first game at Four Pines. If it wasn't for Kohler and 2 individual efforts, they wouldn't have got within 12 or 18 of Canberra.
How good was Kohler? How good was Kohler?
He's a freak.
Freak.
It was only a matter of time before he realised his potential. Like he knew, like when he got the ball a couple of years ago, or even last year, you were like, "This kid's special." Now he's starting to recognise, give me the ball.
Popeye with the spinach.
Give me the ball.
And the only thing that I think is a positive but concerns me is Trbojevic and Kohler are the 2. Yeah. They're the creators. Yeah. They're the ones that are, sort of creating the opportunities and the X factor, but they're on edges and out the back. Brooks and Fogarty scare the shit out of me in terms of can they.
I've got a question on that. How long do you reckon that Joey Walsh might be coming into starting? About 5 rounds?
I would say if they're kind of 1 from 4, he's in.
Would you say it'd be Brooks or Fogarty? I think maybe Brooks.
I reckon Brooks.
Everything I'm hearing is Brooks.
I reckon it'd be Brooks because Fogarty have just signed a 3-year deal. They're not going to sack him after 4 games. Brooks has been there for a long time. And for them, it could be all right.
Purely on form. It doesn't matter how long it's signed for.
Yeah, I know, but mate, trust me, it does. Okay. There are politics in our game. So, there's a bit that wouldn't be a good look for them. I'm actually going to go Newcastle, guys.
Yeah, I'm going to stick with Manly. I liked the fact that Paseka's back, Olakuatu. I love Jake Trbojevich's headgear. And
poor Jake.
Jake
struggled. I love Jake, but he struggled on the weekend.
I just prefer Fletcher Sharp back in that side. I think they're on the up, and I love Justin Holbrook and what they're doing.
Yeah, same.
But I just think at Four Pines.
They get the dry track, I think, this week as well, which will make a bit of a difference.
They'll be hard to beat. I'm just going to go on upset.
I'm going to go Manly.
And then we go for the Battle of Queensland. We've got the Dolphins at $1.40.
Yep.
Titans, $2.97.
Yeah, I mean, it was a nightmare for the Titans. That was just diabolical in the first half.
Yeah.
I mean, couldn't control the footy. The defence was a bit all over the shop. A bit of a deer in the headlights there. Yeah, they're going to take time. I said it. I love what Josh Henne's doing. They look united in those trials. They look good on and off the field, even all the messaging coming out. But they got a right hook. Like they got stung in the first round, just knocked out. Yeah. And they got to get back up and pick themselves up and peel themselves off the canvas and get back to work. And I don't know if it's going to be good enough to beat the Dolphins. Actually, I'm pretty certain it won't be, unfortunately. I think it's the Dolphins that win this.
I'm going to go Dolphins as well, and it's a shame because I look at that Titans pack. Fodawaker, Fasua Maluawe, Aramahau.
Yeah.
Like he could have scored 3 tries. He missed the ball 3 times.
How do you miss 3 of them? Like he didn't even get close though.
But both for more, like they've got a pack. They've got the engine room to get on the front foot and be a bit more competitive. But I'm just not after last week's performance and what I saw from the Dolphins. I'm going to go Dolphins.
That it?
That's it. What's your bet of the round, boys?
I'm going to stick with Canberra over in New Zealand to win. Straight out.
What about you, Rig?
I'm going to go South at $2.01. Is it $2?
Yep.
There it is. There are tips, Unibet tips of the round. And that's it.
See you, fellas.
You win some, you lose more. For free and confidential support, call the number on the screen or visit the website.